And I'm wigging out. Let me be authentic. I want to actually share with. Is this thing working?
Oh, it's working.
Yeah, we got you back here, baby.
It's working.
So I want to share with you all about the Evolver Network, because that's where a lot of this community bridging that I am personally involved with here started with for me for a lot of reasons. So the Evolver Network was the first time that I saw language being used really intentionally to build community. Speaking about mycelial networking, speaking about how there's a lot of energy underneath the ground connecting us synergistically between, the relationship with nature is so reflected in that mushroom symbology, the synergy between the trees and the soil. How we're able to remediate our planet is also how we're able to remediate our culture. The Evolver Network was, it started from a social magazine, from the Reality Sandwich. So alternative news, alternative media, the edgy stuff that mainstream wouldn't touch was being discussed and posted online, and what they discovered is the people who were writing about it, also there are a lot of people who are reading about it and who are practicing, and they're all over the world. And so we needed to talk to each other and share what we were learning and what we were discovering. So the Evolver platform was created using some technology, which of course quickly became outdated, like technology does. So, those of you who have been around it for a while know we had ICQ, so we could chat. Then we had, forums and bulletin boards, so we could post and thread. This is where my passion has been, is finding the ways to connect all of these people who are talking about these edgy subjects, who have these learnings and these discoveries, and not a platform to communicate them and to share them. Evolver was on the forefront of that, and the people who found their way to Evolver did so in some really interesting ways, through the plants, right? Through our medicine. We found each other through communing with nature, and then turned to technology to find ways to share what we already had in common. And this is what's led to everything else we've been here working on and talking about this weekend. The Evolver Network started something, bridging some folks, and those folks, those amazing people, were already doing other things. So Evolver to me was about the people. The people that I connected with through that network are now the people I'm working with for Tribal Convergence Network. These are the same people that I'm working with for Project Nuevo Mundo, the same people that are bringing the technology of the dream dance out into the world. It's the people, the individuals who are receiving this information and sharing it back out to each other in every way. These networks of networks that we're creating, the names that we give to them, the wonderful emergent naming language that we're using, it helps us recognize each other virtually, online. We need those words, the resonation, to find each other when we're far apart, because we already know that resonation when we're in the same place. We feel each other when we're in the same room. What we are doing now is connecting these groups of people all around the world to really pop this up. So what is happening with the Evolver Network right now is a reemergence from the ground up. Evolver started as a corporation, a news magazine, a social movement, and then the people looked at it and said, hey, this is really about us. Can we find ways to connect us without all that other stuff up there? So the organizers of Evolver have now formed our own Evolver Network. So there are people in many cities who have been holding space in a lot of different levels. Space physically, the places that our people come together, starting out as just basements and living rooms, bookstores, coffee shops, places we could gather and sit down and have these dialogues, these conversations with one another that allowed us to deepen our relationships. And after a couple years of that, we're like, okay, is there somewhere we could actually do something instead of sitting and talking and drinking coffee? And so that's what the next evolution of the Evolver Network is. It's these places, just like Project Nuevo Mundo is creating impact centers or connecting. We're not creating anything. These places exist. It's the places where the people are and connecting them through action that is the next level of where we're going with these synergistic relationships. So identifying where these places are that people can go to is such a common theme right now. We've got Project Nuevo Mundo's impact centers. We've got tribal convergence land-based nodes. And we have the Evolver Network spores. So this place that I steward, our Sacred Acres, is all three of those. This is a place, a hub, where those of you who have the interests that you have, by coming through this particular place, you're going to find the people that have that next collaboration, that next tool, that next piece of the puzzle sitting out on the table waiting for your piece of the puzzle to plug into, so we can lay out that next piece of the map together. So the terminology, the spores, the impact centers, this is important. It is how we find each other virtually. And the structures that we use of how to engage with one another is a piece that the Evolver Network has put a lot of time and energy into. What is the stages of a mushroom? You got a spore, you got a seed, right? You got the idea that's germinating and that's growing. Then you got a community, a group of people who have actually begun working together, forming those relationships, defining their roles, what responsibilities they are willing to step into, take accountability for, so that the whole system can begin moving forward and growing and becoming that support system of a fairy ring of mushrooms wrapped around that tree that is allowing the bacteria that help that tree interact with the soil in a better way. So we are each of those. We are the spores. We are the mycelium. We are the trees. We are the soil. We are the people who are converging in these places. And the Evolver Network is another one of those nuts in the web. So the language is there, the templates are there for you to take your place, the place that you are working with, and they're going to give you the tools to help define the structure so people know how to come play with you in a really good way. Thank you.